You've felt it before. Time vanishes, effort dissolves, and your mind clicks into something sharper, faster, almost effortless. But then it disappears, as suddenly as it arrived. What if that wasn't random at all? Neuroscience shows that flow follows specific, predictable rules inside the brain. Break those rules, and flow vanishes. Trigger them, and it returns. Stay with me, because once you see how this state is actually built, you'll never wait for inspiration again. Let us start by debunking a pervasive myth. The idea that creative genius is a gift reserved for a select few. You've heard the stories. The artist who waits for their muse. The writer who needs the perfect storm of inspiration to pen a single word. This romanticized notion paints creativity as a passive, unpredictable force. But recent neuroscience completely shatters this myth. Research from institutions like the Flow Research Collective, founded by author Stephen Kotler, shows that flow is not a matter of luck. It's a matter of specific neurobiological triggers. When you're in flow, your brain isn't just working well. It's undergoing a radical transformation. A process called transient hypofrontality kicks in. Essentially, the part of your brain responsible for self-criticism, long-term planning, and your sense of self, the prefrontal cortex, temporarily quiets down. This is why your inner critic vanishes, and you stop second-guessing every move. Simultaneously, your brain is flooded with a cocktail of performance-enhancing neurochemicals, norepinephrine and dopamine. Heightened focus and engagement. Anandamide, the bliss molecule, reduces pain and boosts lateral thinking, and endorphins create that feeling of euphoria. This isn't magic. It's a predictable, trainable brain state. The problem is that most of us stumble into it by accident, never realizing we hold the keys to the control room. So, how do you intentionally flip the switch? The solution begins with deconstructing the triggers and setting the stage for flow. Think of yourself as an architect, designing an environment for peak performance. The first and most critical trigger is having clear goals. Your brain needs to know exactly what it's supposed to be doing, moment by moment. Vague objectives like work on the project or write the report are flow killers. They create cognitive friction because your brain has to constantly stop and ask, what's next? Instead, you need to break down your task into clear micro goals. If you're a musician, your goal isn't practice guitar. It's nail the second verse of this song at 120 beats per minute without a mistake. If you're a programmer, it's not work on the app. It's debug this specific function and get it to return the correct value. Each small victory provides a hit of dopamine, creating a feedback loop that pulls you deeper into the state. Hand in hand with clear goals is the second trigger. Immediate feedback. Your brain needs to know, in real time, whether your actions are moving you closer to or further from your goal. This is why video games are such powerful flow-inducing machines. You shoot, and you either hit the target or you miss. The feedback is instant. You can apply this to your own work. A designer can get it by seeing how a small change in color or layout instantly affects the overall composition. A writer can get immediate feedback by rereading a sentence to see if it lands correctly. This instant feedback allows for immediate correction, eliminating the guesswork that pulls you out of a focused state. It keeps the cycle of action and awareness tightly coupled, which is the very essence of the flow experience. You're not stopping to judge. You're constantly adjusting and refining in a seamless dance with the task at hand. Now, let's talk about perhaps the most crucial element, the challenge-skill balance. This is the delicate tightrope you must walk to enter flow. The task you're undertaking needs to be difficult enough to command your full attention, but not so difficult that it overwhelms you and triggers anxiety. Imagine a professional tennis player volleying against a 5-year-old. The task is too easy. There's no challenge. So, boredom sets in, and flow is impossible. Now, imagine that same 5-year-old playing against the professional. The challenge is insurmountably high, leading to frustration and anxiety. Flow lives in the sweet spot, on the razor's edge, where your skills are stretched to their absolute limit to meet a high-consequence challenge. According to research, this sweet spot is when the challenge is roughly 4% greater than your current skill level. This 4% rule is the zone of optimal anxiety, a state of arousal that sharpens your focus and pushes you to grow. Think about the last time you were truly engrossed in a task. It was likely something that demanded all of your talent and concentration. You were stretching, but not breaking. This is why mastering a new, Difficult chord progression on a guitar feels so much better than idly strumming chords you learned years ago. You must constantly calibrate the difficulty of your tasks to stay in this delicate, powerful zone. Finally, you have to control your environment. Flow is a state of deep concentration, and our modern world is a minefield of distractions designed to shatter it. The two most important environmental factors are minimal distractions and a sense of high consequences or autonomy. The transient hypofrontality we discussed earlier makes you highly susceptible to external stimuli. A single notification, a person walking into the room, or an unexpected email can be enough to completely derail a flow state and kick you back into your analytical, self-conscious mind. You must be ruthless in creating a sanctuary for focus. This means putting your phone in another room, closing all unnecessary browser tabs, using noise-canceling headphones, and signaling to others that you are not to be disturbed for a set period, what Cal Newport calls deep work. But it's not just about removing the negative, it's about adding the positive. Granting yourself autonomy over your work, choosing how and when you tackle a task, significantly boosts engagement and intrinsic motivation, which are precursors to flow. When you feel a sense of control and purpose, your brain is primed to invest its full cognitive resources into the activity. So, let's bring this all together. The incredible feeling of flow isn't a fluke. It's your brain rewarding you for operating at the very edge of your capabilities. It's a state of deep focus, where your sense of self dissolves. Time distorts and your creativity and productivity skyrocket. The problem is, we often wait for this state to find us. The solution is to become an active architect of your own neurobiology. You can do this by setting hyper-clear, granular goals for your tasks. You must build in a mechanism for immediate, real-time feedback so you can adjust on the fly. You need to constantly calibrate the tasks, difficulties to hit that 4% sweet spot, ensuring the challenge stretches your skills without breaking them. And you must be disciplined about creating a distraction-free environment that gives you the autonomy to fully immerse yourself in the work. Here's your key takeaway. Flow is a trainable skill, not a random stroke of luck. By intentionally manipulating these triggers, clear goals, immediate feedback, the challenge-skill balance, and a controlled environment, you can dramatically increase the frequency and intensity of these peak performance states. Don't wait for inspiration to strike. Start building the conditions for it right now. Your challenge, should you choose to accept it, is to pick one important task you need to complete this week. Before you begin, take 15 minutes to architect your flow state. Break the task into tiny, clear goals. Decide how you will get immediate feedback. Adjust the difficulty so it feels challenging but achievable. And then, for 90 minutes, create a sacred, distraction-free space and dive in. The difference you experience might just change the way you work forever. Don't let another day of mediocre output go by. The blueprint for peak performance is right in front of you. What are you waiting for?